Welcome to the Coach Cameron Soccer Podcast Live Edition. We're going to be doing this every Sunday until COVID's over or something. I don't know, but I want to introduce my staff. We are now being heard, so let's start this bad boy. Oh yeah, turn off my YouTube. Turn off the YouTube. Welcome to the Coach Cameron Soccer Podcast Live Edition. We're going to be doing this every Sunday. Sorry about that. Like I said, this is our first go at it. This is we didn't really promote this YouTube event too much because we're giving it a trial run by fire. But first, I want to introduce my staff. Ryan Cameron's on IT. Say hello, Ryan.
Hi there.
That's Ryan. My daughter, she's on the technical support. And we have Jack Cameron, my son, El Rojo.
Hello.
Hello. And then kick you in the shins, Jett Cameron. That's how he battles. Anyways, we have a great show tonight. We are going to cover a lot of things. One is the RSL and Rising potential merger that no one knows about except me because I'm a psychic. And the USA 2020 Player of the Year announcements. I'm going to announce them first, both the men's and women's. And we have Jamie Nicewander coming on live with us later tonight, and Tactics with Gregg Berhalter. But first, we have a message from a sponsor. We have a sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by CoachCameron.com, a place where you can get all your merchandise. Go to CoachCameron.com, click on the store, and buy the most expensive t-shirt you've ever bought, or the most expensive mug you've ever bought. You know why? Because I'm featured on it. I'm like the Nike symbol. Once you put me on it, it's going to cost twice of the value. But more importantly, you're contributing to a wonderful podcast. You will sustain this podcast if you make... I'm sorry, Coach Jim. I can't do this.
Well, that was pretty bad. But that's how you can fund this podcast. You can go to the store at CoachCameron.com and purchase a t-shirt, hat, or whatever you want. But you don't have to. If you can't afford those things, you have no need for any Christmas gifts of any kind. It's okay. All you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/Coach Cameron Soccer. If you go there or just Google it, you'll find me. But go to YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and hopefully I'll grow the podcast that way. And that is worth more than T-shirts and hats that you could buy. So Jack and Jett are going to be part of a weekly edition of 1v1 battles in the backyard. We have actually live cameras in our backyard. You guys can go ahead and get ready and get all mic'd up. I think Jett, you're on the... Oh, no, Jack, you're on the mic first. So go with Jack, Jett, and we'll see you guys soon. But as they're getting ready, you let the dog in, hence our first podcast. But we're going to go with the news of the day. And... First, we're going to talk about the RSL that we're very interested in. As an Arizonan, I think there's a good chance that we are going to have a merger of some sort. And RSL is looking at a sell from the Major League Soccer if the owner of the RSL team can't get anything done in the next 30 days. I think they are. They're going to be active in it. So let's put that aside and talk about the Phoenix Rising FC. They announced a new stadium a couple of days ago that they're expanding their ability to grow the game, a new location, and they're going to basically double their stadium size and have the potential even grow from there. They're going to have potential. I think it's going to be up to 12,000 seats, and they will have the ability to expand it even beyond that to get MLS requirements. I think that timing of that and the RSL that's in trouble, we're going to be looking at a potential opportunity for the Phoenix Rising gaining the Major League Soccer franchise via RSL. Let's go some tweets that back what I'm saying. Mickey Turner sent a tweet to Real Salt Lake and Orlando City SC ownership situation. Garber, who is the Major League Soccer president, has discussions with Orlando, but no news about sell. RSL has been a great market, but has no plan whatsoever to move the team, but no news. So to me, that is very clear. They have no plans, but I think they're going to sell the program. And I think Arizona is a perfect location for it. Another tweet we got from Glenn Crooks. He says, Major League Soccer Commissioner Don Garber said the league has concluded the investigations on the toxic work environment discovered at RSL. The league will announce the results after MLS Cup. Well, MLS Cup is over. Let's go to another tweet. This is Mickey Turner again, says, they've completed the investigation into allegations against Del Loy Hansen. MLS is prepared to take over the sales process for the RSL/Utah Soccer Holdings, except for the Utah Royals, of course, because they are going to Kansas City. So this is, I find this very funny. This is all coming about based on what happened in, I believe it was September. September. We'll actually read about that in a second. And they basically had the social justice warriors came about, and they decided, hey, we're going to take out someone because we think we know what he's thinking. Therefore, he's a racist. And now they ticked him off. Salt Lake's going to lose everything. And players like from the Utah Royale now have to struggle to find a way to relocate and start over, all because they want to throw a fit. So let's talk about Utah Royale. They are going to be sold. This is an old article. They are going to relocate. They're going to Kansas City, and they're gone. So they're done. They were in a great market in Salt Lake, but they decided to throw a fit. So let's get to the Salt Lake Tribune. This is an old article that I covered in a podcast a long time ago. So the RSL owner, Del Loy Hansen, says players showed disrespect by forcing games postponement. It says, speaking on the local show Radio from Hell, which is a broadcast on a station he owns, Hansen said the boycott of the game went against what the RSL stands for, which is a sense of community building and family. He likened the team's decision to a backstabbing. So based on what he said there, he was crucified because Black Lives Matter was going like crazy at that time, and he was called a racist and all that because he wasn't supporting it. What happened was a game, let's read, RSL, the LAFC decided about an hour before kickoff Wednesday not to play their game to show solidarity with other sports leagues, including the WNBA, NBA, Major League Baseball, and they did all these things based on the shooting of Jacob Blake. So the timing of it, all the things that Del Loy Hansen was ticked off about was this. He was mad because he organized an event, he had people, staff ready to work, and then they just, an hour before the game, we're not playing. To me, that's not cool. But because he didn't agree with what they did, he became a racist. They attacked him brutally. And what did Del Loy Hansen do? Apologize immediately, which doesn't work with social justice warriors. And so he said, okay, I'm sorry. I'm just get out of this because they will not stop attacking me. And anyone that's associated with him, stop attacking. So he's going to get rid of it. And that's what's going on. And that's what's exciting about the opportunity for Arizona. I think because of what happened with social justice warriors and what's going on with Orlando City. And I think Del Loy, the owner of RSL, is going to get rid of it. And he doesn't want it in Salt Lake because he, is probably upset and wants it out of there and have them be punished. So anyways, hopefully, Ryan, you think Jack and Jett are ready? I think they might be about ready. So this is the first go with live filming in the backyard, and a new bit is one-on-one battles with Jack and Jett. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
What are the rules?
It's just a 1v1, first to one.
Well, let's roll.
All right. You ready? 3.
Oh. Jeez, Jett. That was pretty bad. That was nasty. So I think, Jett is here. So Jett, you you kicked your brother.
Yep.
That was where you kick him in the bad area.
Yep.
I think that was pretty mean to do as a brother. I think a video can probably explain the pain that Jack is currently in. What do you think, Ryan?
I can feel it all the way down in my plums, getting all swollen, with a light blue hue to them, fresh and juicy, ready for the picking.
Yeah. So yeah, good job, Jett. So is that a fun game you play?
Kinda.
Kind of. So is that a game you want to play again? I think you're going to be doing another game.
Ooh.
You got one more battle with Jack. I think it's going to be cornhole, soccer cornhole.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I should do that.
Yeah. So we're going to let you get back. Go check on Jack. Make sure he's okay. And then get ready for the next segment. You got to get mic'd up because
Okay.
you're switching because you're not or Jack's not mic'd. You're mic'd now.
Should I go get him?
No, you need to go to the backyard and get set up. So that was Jack and Jett battles that we're going to be doing weekly. And we're going to cover some news as they get ready for their next battle that we'll be doing each week. So Sarah Fuller, she's back in the game, and she scored a point. And just waiting for IT Ryan to put up the screen sometime. So Sarah Fuller, there you go. Sarah Fuller says, deservedly captivated the sports world this year. She was hardly the first woman to score in a college football game. That honor belongs to Katie Hindia. Who Katie Hindia is? She is someone that was playing and kicking the ball in Division I football long before anyone ever knew about Sarah Fuller. Actually, Katie can kick the ball a lot better than Sarah Fuller. But all the praise is going to Sarah Fuller because she kicks it on a team that probably couldn't beat Phoenix College's football program. And that's pretty bad because they don't even exist anymore. But reading about what exactly happened yesterday, just after Sarah Fuller calmly kicked her first extra point for Vanderbilt. And by the way, we have a video of her extra point she kicked. Sarah Fuller becomes the first woman to score in a Power 5 game, which is a big deal. You know, the problem I have with this is she doesn't deserve it. And I don't care about male, female. I care about who's better. It's Division I football. That's all I care about. It's Division I football. So why aren't we focusing on Division I athletes? Because she's not a Division I football athlete. No, I don't think she is at all. I think there's plenty of other players on the team that can actually kick a ball, but we want to make stories, and Sarah Fuller is going to do very well about this whole gimmick. But do we have the kick, Ryan? IT Ryan, do we have the kick? Can you play the kick?
The kick?
Yeah, Sarah Fuller's kick. The video. The next slide.
Oh, I see it.
As she clicks with her mic on.
All right.
So there you have it. I could kick better than that, but I was a kicker. So it was pretty low, but she got through, and she's continuing on with this whole amazing thing that's going on. It is amazing if she would actually earn the spot. She didn't earn it. But enough of talking about that. I talked enough about Sarah Fuller. I don't blame her. I mean, if she was my daughter kicking, I'd be excited for her too. But you put yourself in a situation of, do I deserve it or don't I? I don't know. Let's talk about USA beats El Salvador 6-0. And I think there's something important there to recognize about USA versus El Salvador. I see on Twitter, everyone's like, oh my gosh, they're just, we're an amazing program, and we are moving in a trajectory that makes sense that we're actually going to improve as a program. I don't think so. El Salvador, I break things down based on the transfer market online, which from through the rest of this podcast, we're going to be talking about transfer market, where you can go online and see value of each player, which I'll give you access to that as well, that will allow you to really know who's the better players, and it's all based on money, the value of the player on the transfer market. So I went to the transfer market online, and El Salvador is valued as a team $3.91 million. That sounds like a lot of money, but the USA's value is $48 million, almost $49 million right now. Of course, so that's almost like two of our players. But anyways, our value is higher than theirs, much higher. So we should win by 6-0. It shouldn't be a problem at all. And we are in a situation of we need to stop getting excited about things that really don't matter. Where El Salvador had 6 players from one club team playing on that started. And that's not impressive at all. But we won, and I think there's something to be said about that by Gregg Berhalter. So we have another episode with Gregg Berhalter. Tactics with Gregg Berhalter. Put it on, IT Ryan.
Tactics with Gregg Berhalter. Well done.
The reason I have my mask around my wrist, a couple reasons. One, I don't want to lose it. But two, when we are supposed to be singing the national anthem, I don't know all the words. So I put this on. And I can just do this, and people think I'm singing, and then you can't tell I'm mouthing the words or not. Yeah, the mask didn't move at all.
Now we know.
Knowing is half the battle.
Gregg Berhalter. So that was my biggest takeaway from the U.S. men's national team game, that Gregg Berhalter did not sing the national anthem. He should, since he's the head coach. He wore the mask. And then, as soon as the national anthem was over, it was a situation of, I'm going to take the mask off and put it around my wrist the entire game. But this lineup he put together, he had more people singing the national anthem than any other lineup he has. So I was pretty happy about that. Other than Greg, learn the national anthem and sing it proudly. You are the head coach for the U.S. men's national team. So do your job. Let's move on to Player of the Year nominees based on transfer market value. So how we doing there, IT Ryan? Scroll up. Click. We're having IT problems with IT Ryan. We're supposed to be on the 2020 Male Player of the Year, and she can't get our... Click the next slide. No, that's a young one. We have major technical difficulties. I'm going to slide over 1 second.
Probably because we only practiced half of it.
No, it's right. So you do this. You click that. It's right in order.
That was the first thing I clicked.
Yeah. Anyways, it's the first show. We will get better. And as soon as I start with paid help, it can happen. I will pay you based on success. And right now you owe me money. 2020 Male Player of the Year. I'm going to break this down very simply. So we have Zardis, who won MLS Cup last night, Pulisic, Morris, McKennie, Des, Adams. And it's very simple to figure out who's what. In last place in that for voting, according to me, is Jordan Morris, who's only worth $3.85 million on transfer. So I'm on the transfer market once again. And in fourth place is Zardis with $3.85 million in value. In fourth place, Tyler Adams at $17 million. And in third place, Sergio at Des is at $22 million. And in second place is Weston McKennie, who plays for Juventus, at $24 million. And finally, the easy winner, and it should not be given to anybody else, should go to Christian Pulisic, is at a transfer market value of $66 million. That's it. That's the winner. That's how we should do it. Those are the nominees. How do you get nominated when you're valued at $3.85 million? You might as well just go play for who did the U.S. men's national team just play? some average team. Can't remember their name. Anyways, moving on to Player of the Year for the Young Male Player of the Year. So you have 5 candidates, and it's an easy winner. I'm just going to move on to the winner. The winner is Giovanni Reyna. His market value is $33 million. So if he was competing in the men's category with the big players, he would finish second, only second to Pulisic. But those are our two best players for the U.S. men's national team. It's Giovanni Reyna and Pulisic. It's a very simple. Let's move on to Player of the Year 2020 for females. This one was hard. How are we doing over there, IT Ryan? We on point? Because I can't see the screens anymore.
We're on point.
Oh, good. So can we move to Player of the Year for the nominees for 2020? Women? There you go. So this is much harder. You can't find, well, I can't. I can't find anything about the transfer market for women. I can't find anything. I wasted like a couple hours doing this. I was like, this is so dumb. I need to just pull this from the podcast. But so I just did Wiki, and that's how I created value, and that's how we're going to pick it. So Ryan, go ahead and click all of them to find out who is valued, because I don't have the screens on mine. Can you read them out? What's the values, Ryan, for each player?
Yeah, Abby Dallekemper.
Yep.
Was 200,000.
Yeah, so she's in last.
All right. It's like Mewis.
Yep.
Was 600,000. We have Kristen Press at 1.4 million.
Yeah, and this is not market value. This is just worth. Like, this is what they're worth. Go on.
Net worth.
Net worth.
Lindsay Horan at 2 million. And Crystal Dunn at 6 million.
All right.
She's the number one.
Crystal Dunn wins, according to me, from this podcast. Congratulations, Crystal Dunn. You are the champion because you're worth more. I couldn't find anything on that. It's all like secretive. But I did add a new category that I decided to for the strongest female player. And that goes to Jessica McDonald. And I have proof why she's the strongest female football player based on a video. Got the video, Ryan? IT Ryan? Oh, you finally got the picture? My IT. Oh, here we go. All right, here's Jessica doing push-ups with her son, Jeremiah, on her back. And push-ups are hard enough, but she does it with her 90-pound son on her back. And the video, like, backtrack. But fast forward to that, IT Ryan. Get to the very end where she does, like, 5 push-ups with him on the back, with Jeremiah on the back. What are we on, 3? I need a TV in front of me. That's what I'm going to add to this podcast next Sunday, is make sure I have TV so I can see the screens of what's going on, because I have to look through IT Ryan's head to see what's going on. Low budget, but if you buy more shirts, look at her flex. She's ripped. Yeah. So Jessica is the strongest female athlete in America. But I think it's time to move on to Jack and Jett. I think they're ready in the back. Ryan, are they ready in the back yet?
Yeah, they're ready.
All right, let's roll. Let's roll to the Jett and Jack battles by clicking the next slide. There you go.
Yeah. Cornhole. So it's first one to get the least amount hits in 2.
Aren't we just going to 1?
I guess so.
Yes.
Okay, I'll go first. 1. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8!
Oh.
So Jack won that one. So let's have Jack come up. Jack, is Jack here yet? Yep. Come on, Jack. So Jack won the game of cornhole. How do you like that game, Jack?
The game's pretty fun. You know, I'm too good at it, so I beat Jett.
I saw that. So congrats on the big victory. How you doing from the kicks that Jett gave you earlier?
Well, you know, it hurt for a while, but, you know.
You recovered?
Yeah.
That's good. That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys doing the 1v1 battles. Do you have any idea what you're going to do next week?
I'm thinking maybe penalty shootouts, something like that.
All right. Well, maybe we'll do something like that. We'll figure it out. But appreciate you and Jett. You guys are good to go. And I appreciate you being on this podcast. And we'll see you guys next Sunday with new battles by Jack and Jett. Well, I appreciate it. I think we have Jamie Nicewander from Yuma's been on hold. Is he still on the phone, ready to go? So we have a Jamie Nicewander from Yuma. He's been a high school coach in Yuma for 18 years, and he's been important to me as far as recruiting in Yuma. I've always gotten some players from his high school, which is Kofa High School, and he is. Let's get him on the show. Well, with us right now is Jamie Nicewander, the Yuma informant for me, for Phoenix College anyways. So, Jamie, how you doing, buddy?
Fantastic, Dave. Good to hear from you.
Hey, thanks for coming on short notice. What's going on in Yuma today? How's the weather?
Fantastic. It's beautiful out, man. It's always beautiful in Yuma, Arizona. We have really rough winters here with no snow. And the temperature never drops that low. So I lived in Fairbanks for 4 years, and man, it's beautiful here.
So you're the Kofa High School coach. You've been coaching Kofa for how many years now? 15 more? I don't know.
Ooh, Lord goodness. Well, I actually coached the girls program for about 6, 7 years. And I switched over to the boys program after that. I've been with the boys for quite a few years now as well. I came to Kofa in 2000, started coaching in 2002. So I've been there for a little while now.
Yeah, shoot.
Good stuff. Yeah,
that's a long
soccer's a very popular sport down here. A lot of kids playing all the time. We're right on the border. This Yuma County touches the border down here with California and Mexico. So we're in a little area, nice little area down here. If you like soccer,
yeah,
and, very popular sport. So.
Well, for the ones I don't know, I've been going to Yuma, every year recruiting initially straight to you and Kofa High School, and I picked up some big time players. Pretty much every player of the year out of Kofa High School for like 3 or 4 years in a row. I think Hasiel was the first one.
Yes, he was. Amazing player.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
great kid, great player. Turned into a great young man. Maprak, he recently had a baby, so congrats, Hasiel.
Oh, wow. Is he still in Phoenix, or did he move back home?
You know, I know he has family down here in San Luis. I follow his posts and stuff, so I'm assuming he's living down here.
Yeah.
I lived in Phoenix for quite a few years, though, but I believe he's living back down here again. But I try to keep up with the major events, and like I said, he just recently had a child, so congrats to Hasiel. And I'm sure that kid's gonna be born with a ball, no doubt about it.
Yeah, he was definitely a technical player. We loved him as a player at Phoenix. But as far as talent goes, Yuma, it just has so many talented players. And when I first was intrigued about Yuma is back when I think it was Irvin Garcia, and back in the day, and he played on this Hispanic team. This Yuma all Hispanic team came down to Rose Mofford, and they were just destroying everybody. And I'm like,
Cats, correct? I believe it was the Golden Cats.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what's in Yuma? And ever since I've watched that game, and obviously Irvin had an amazing career. Went to Yavapai, then Irvine University with George Kuntz, and then he's back here. He was playing professional. He's on the beach national team now, I think, for US.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So yeah, he was a very talented player, but there's so much talent comes from Yuma. What can you tell me from your experience being there? How many talented soccer players are in Yuma, and where have they gone, and what have you noticed?
Well, soccer is so popular down here, and it's a lot different than other places, perhaps, or maybe it's just that what we typically in America, what we typically think soccer looks like, doesn't necessarily look the same down here in Yuma, Arizona. The standards of behavior, the expectations of the players, the technical skill level. There's so many differences, I think, than what most people would think is the norm in other places. And what I mean by that is the good, bad, and the ugly, right? Every aspect of it is. I think there's a lot more positive though down here, coming out of here. A lot of very talented players down here. And I think you also see though that I've changed my philosophy dramatically on my coaching, as well as my own perception of American soccer after being here by the border. And actually, I've been blessed enough to had the Mexican national team, the U17 Mexican national team, come down here twice. I've been blessed enough to coach against them twice. And their willingness to go and play anybody, anywhere, anytime on any field is what made them world champs at U17 category. Undoubtedly. We had both the world champs here in Yuma playing. And how about that, right? I mean, Mexico, a foreign country, is willing to come into this country to play our youth teams, right? Of course, always an eye open for talent, looking for talent, as well as the opportunity for them to make money on it, because they make money from the gate as well. But what a marked difference between us and the United States, right? The United States national team. I don't know if they go out to travel and play small town school teams around America looking for talent, or if they just wait for players to come to them based off of the pay-to-play system that obviously hasn't really been very effective. But it is amazing to see the willingness of the Mexican national team to even come to the United States and play here. And then that just permeates the culture down here, though, right? Where mostly the highest percentage of population is Latino, so it's a large Latino population, and there's a lot of pride, a lot of energy put into it. I guess you could compare it directly to what you see in football programs coming out of Texas and even maybe out of Phoenix area. Some great football programs in the Phoenix, Tucson areas where there's a ton of support, a ton of love given to the program, a lot of passion. And the fans are very passionate, right? And here we get the same passion from parents for soccer. It's a great. I mean, how many high school programs out there can say have 1,000, 2,000 people show up to a soccer game? The Copa San Luis game is packed down here, as well as some other games, and state playoff games. If any of the two local teams get involved in it, it's a heyday. It's amazing.
Well, let me stop you right there. It's interesting to bring up the amount of talent that's in Yuma, and not many people know about Yuma, Arizona, especially outside of Arizona. And Yuma is just an example of many communities throughout, not only Arizona, throughout the whole country that's underserved and underutilized. And as far as identifying players, when it comes to Phoenix, professional clubs from all over the world from Mexico, 8-9 professional organizations come here and hold ID camps and identify Hispanic talent, and they take them early. And it's interesting to see that, and you won't see that with the U.S. national team system through whatever they're doing. I don't even know what they're doing, but they're not willing to go in the trenches and actually find talent, and that's a big concern.
It's a huge concern. It really is, and it's sad because there's so much talent down here. Again, this is primarily a Latino community. I live in a very low-income environment. I can't even imagine what I could do if I had funds to work with. I can't. It's nuts. We work the bare minimum. I mean, our kids pay $50 for their shorts, their socks, their shirts, and I mean, if you want to throw in the season for $29. Are you kidding me? $175 a kick is a season. And the uniforms they use for the entire year. So you're looking at tops out the door, what, 100, $110 for a year of soccer for 2 seasons. So a kid's going to get in, what, 30 games, maybe 40? And that's the tip of the iceberg. I mean, it's incredibly cheap down here. People don't realize it's that cheap in Mexico, if not cheaper. And yet Mexico, a smaller country, is kicking our rear ends in soccer. Because so many people think you have to travel and pay these large fees to coaches who many times don't have what I would consider real credentials, which is a history of producing talent. I don't mean winning games. Winning games is different than producing talent. Anybody can win a game just about if they have all-star team thrown in front of them playing another team that isn't necessarily an all-star team. I'm talking about coaches that can actually take a kid and grow them, right? I mean, I think like anything else, there's a difference in scouting and coaching. And the really great coaches out there can do both, right? But in youth development's got to come first over the winning. It has to. And you have to remember what age group of kids you're working with. So the tone of your voice, type of practices you're holding, even the types of energy you're feeding into your players and your athletes, the demands you're putting on them physically, psychologically, that all comes into play. If you don't have the right coach for your child, I see so many people throwing money at a problem when it doesn't take money really to fix that problem. It takes a dedicated group of people who know what they're doing, right? I'm always amazed at organizations that have huge trials for things, but they're not professional organizations, and yet parents flock to it, they throw money at it, and then they wonder why their kid's done playing.
It's the same thing every year. I see it everywhere. I mean, my son's at Tuzos, and even they're bought in about MLS Next, and it's just and I've been saying it from the very beginning of my podcast. I started over 2 years ago. It was one of my first episodes was about the next acronym, the next slogan, the next. It's the same stuff. It's the same people running it. It's the same coaches. It's just a new name, and it's a new set of suckers, which happens to be parents with kids.
That's right. The new wave, and the last wave, that was a different group of parents. So now the new group of parents comes in thinking that they can buy into this.
They'll buy it too.
Money, travel, and it's always amazing to me that even down here in Yuma, we'll see a lot of people throw money at traveling out of town to play, but yet they're not dominating down here. Or how about this? They're not going 20 minutes across the border.
Yeah.
Because that would be a different world of soccer for them,
Well,
right? So instead of doing that, they go 3 hours. Because there's this this big myth out there that if they do that, somehow their kid's going to be so much better than everybody else. I've been blessed and I'm lucky enough to see right across the border and be right on the border and see the systems in place there. And what's really rewarded is the hard work ethic and the talent. If your kid's good enough, they're going to get spotted.
Yeah.
They're not as good as we thought they were.
Yeah, and we could talk about this all day, and that's why I said we need to do another podcast that's focused on that. But the real reason I want to talk to you is about the California invasion. Before they had the state line or the state border shut down. So I've been podcasting a lot about California coming over to Arizona. But there was one article they're talking about baseball and some other organizations that booked Yuma. For a year, and it was an economic boom. And Motel 8, which is normally like $39, place that people just go to hook up with prostitutes or whatever, or it's like $250.
I love Motel 8. Motel 8's a great organization. All right.
Well, so what was that your experience seeing California come over and do tournaments where 150 teams were allowed in the tournament, and there was 2 Yuma teams and 148 California teams. Did you see all that happen in front of you? Or?
Yeah, everybody in Yuma could see it happening. It was an interesting dynamic taking place because we had all these California teams coming in. And listen, to make it clear, I don't hate on the California teams. I don't dislike California teams. I think it's fantastic. People are trying to help their kids play. But that being said, I think we have an interesting situation taking place with the pandemic, right? Where we have some people who believe the pandemic is super bad, and some people believe the pandemic is is not as bad as that other group of people purported to be, but still believe, okay, it's a pandemic, we need to be cautious. You have some people at the other end who say, no, we don't need to worry about this at all. That's all coming into play with children's sports. And with the parks, originally parks were shut down locally, and then when things started to open up, as soon as the parks became available, obviously people out of California said, hey, we want games for our kids. Now, I'm all for Californians coming to Arizona to play games. All for it, okay? I think the problem, though, becomes, well, like right here in Yuma, our school districts were shutting down sports in person a while back while parks were packed. Parks were absolutely packed. So the city of Yuma was making, money off these fields being absolutely packed. Gas stations, Motel 8, as you mentioned. And again, Dave, you mentioned Motel 8, but that was one of literally dozens of hotels that were packed locally, dozens. And whether it was Motel 8 or was Holiday Inn or any other, the names were given in here. Both Dave and I mentioned are just ones that just come to mind because they're some of the most popular names, not because they're good or bad hotels. But they all were packed. Is the point? They all were packed, and they could raise their prices if they wanted and make some money. But I'll tell you what, Dave, and you didn't know this before you asked me about this. I went to Gilbert, as a matter of fact, within the last 2 months. I was in Gilbert, and I went to a hotel there. It was a relatively nice hotel. And I spoke to the hotel staff there about, hey, so how's business going for y'all? Y'all doing okay up here? And their response was, are you kidding me? We're booming. We're absolutely booming right now. It's been packed since like August.
Because of youth sports, and it's in Gilbert.
Right. Sports. They specifically said youth sports, youth soccer, youth softball, baseball. They said it's blowing up. So because of youth sports, there's this big boom across our state, and Yuma is no different than the Phoenix area as well, with available fields and people want to use those available fields because, I mean, in the end, you can't blame a father or mother, and maybe it's misguided, maybe it's not, that they feel like they have to come all the way over here, but people want to do what's best for their kids, and if they think that's what's best for their kids, they're going to do that. And I think that's great on their part as parents supporting their kids to follow their dreams. But again, I think what comes into play is politics now in this pandemic, and that has created a different set of circumstances.
Right, and that's the typical American family that knows nothing. So they'll pick up and leave from California and move to Phoenix or Scottsdale and play for the Rising or whatever, versus use the pandemic time to actually work on their technique. But they won't. You could, all you Californians, you could literally stay home, train your backyard, fix your flipping technique, and watch the game on TV. Do something a little different. It'd be one thing if you're extremely technical now, and you just need games and stuff. The whole notion that you have to train with the team and be able to gel with them and all this stuff during this time versus just fly in for games or whatnot if you have to get the games. But everyone misses the whole point of just get technically better. Everyone has the opportunity to do that, but very few people on this earth actually do it.
I agree, but I want to tell you why you think that way and why I think that way, though. You and I think that way, Dave, because we have knowledge. We have a body of knowledge about the game of soccer. Okay, you play at a higher level than I did. Of course, you were a great player in your time. You still have a lot of high technical skill. So for you, Dave, that comes so much easier than and even my own sons. My own sons, play as well, and my sons are lucky to have, because they love soccer. But if I was, if my kids wanted to play American football, wanted to play, tennis, and the tennis courts were all closed and they couldn't get any tennis games, would I be able to help my son get better at tennis? Well, I could to a certain extent. You're right. I could focus on some basics, but you and I, Dave, look at this differently too, because we know something about soccer, right? We know how important the ability of them to control that ball is, right? We understand, the 1v1 moves and how you can just practice those over and over and over again. It's not the same as a game, but you can still practice those over and over again. You can still work on your juggling. You can still work on your first touch against the wall ball for 45 minutes every day. The list goes on. But remember, there's a lot of parents out there that literally don't know anything about the game. Now they watch it and they're fans maybe. But when it comes to training, they don't understand the game. as well, and they don't have the same confidence you do, and that I have, knowing that, hey, my kids are gonna be just fine. Okay, we're doing some stuff out in the yard, we're doing some stuff at the park, on our own, or over at this location, that location. My kids are gonna be just fine when they're coming through this. They're gonna come out healthy. Their body's gonna have rest. We're gonna watch some games. We're gonna work on some individual skill stuff. They're gonna be just okay. They're gonna be okay, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
You and I believe that way because of our experience, though. I think a lot of other parents out there are working other jobs, other careers. They're grasping for straws. So I understand. I don't agree with sometimes their desire to want to do that, but I understand it. I understand it.
Right.
I don't agree with it. I understand.
Yeah, I'm just saying if I was in that situation, I had that kind of money to literally pay for a California home and a Scottsdale home, and do those things, I would just take my California home. First of all, I would never move there, but if I was there, I would have built a soccer field. There's a family in my Little Bears program that when this all hit back in June, they built a soccer field in their backyard, and it's like a 40 by 30 all turf lights. So they just play back there. They set up their own leagues and everything.
Wow.
But that's culture. So it's more of being in the culture of soccer. But you're in California, the culture's there. I mean, the amount of talent that's in California, the amount of Hispanics are playing, they have everything there. Of course, they're shut down. So it's just weird times. But I want to talk about Yuma a little bit more. When California came over with their baseball tournaments and all the other tournaments they're doing, did the locals lose the ability to use their fields because it was overbooked by California?
You know what? That's interesting, Dave. Man, I think maybe some clubs did. But for example, I run a club down here. We're a very small club, though. We primarily focus on at the high school level, or just the kids that are coming out of one high school. Right? That's it. That's it. I created a club to basically do what I saw coming out of the Midwest with football. Right? We have a feeder system in place, and that feeder system develops the talent, has them have certain foundation skills before they come into your high schools. And then it works in conjunction with the high school, right? So our club works in conjunction with our high school, Kofa High School, and it enables us to do things year round with the same athletes that come to our program. Then we also have younger kids though that can feed into our system if they want. They can go into another high school easily. That's fine. But it's younger ages all the way up, right? So you 8, blah blah blah, all the way up to U19. What we do is a little bit different though, and what we've seen is that when the fields were being rented, me personally, it had no effect because we've always used fields that were available. They weren't the best fields. We don't use, the turf fields. There's no turf down here really to speak of. For the city, it's not. But for regular, really nice grass fields, we've never been on those anyway because typically my kids can't afford that. Now I have one or two that can, obviously, but overwhelmingly, I have a large number that cannot afford that. They wouldn't be able to afford club fees and things like that. As I mentioned earlier, we don't have a club fee. There's no coaching fee whatsoever. We're signing, we only have maybe 10 kids that graduate to our program every year, but usually half of those are getting scholarship offers, if not more.
Right.
And that's out of one high school. Actually, we have 4 kids signing with different universities, and 3 or 4 get college offers. Most kids that come to our program get an offer to go somewhere. Literally, almost all of them get an offer if they want it, if they apply themselves, if they follow our instructions, and they also, in addition, if they do their FAFSA and stuff. My program is different than some of these other big name programs out there that they're charging monthly fees. Because you see, the reason I mention that is when you start charging those monthly fees, now you have to make sure that there's a place, right, a location where you can practice consistently all the time. See, we'll bounce around in different fields. We're flexible enough because we're trying to keep it cheap for the kids. So we'll use whatever fields are available, and I've been lucky enough to be coaching long enough where I can modify drills and activities to fit whatever field conditions we have in those areas, a smaller field area or whatever. But there's also this myth that you have to have great soccer fields to produce great soccer players, and again, that's just so not true. So not true.
No,
right.
That's a whole nother.
But the nice fields have been being rented, right? Whether it's soccer, softball, or baseball, these fields have been being rented, and there's been a big boom for the city out of that. Now, some of the bigger clubs in Yuma, we have one club in particular that's the largest club in Yuma, largest soccer club in Yuma. That particular club, maybe they experienced it as he was trying to get field space. I don't know. But we never had to have those manicured grass fields to develop good quality players.
Right.
I mean, it's just that simple. We've never needed that. But the fields are packed down here. There's no doubt about it. It's very difficult. There was always an issue before already, getting field space already before. They had a new field. They just created the city of Yuma, created a field a couple years back down on 24th Street. It's absolutely horrible. I mean, it's deplorable field conditions. It's almost dangerous for kids to play on. But that's another issue. So there's a lack of soccer space down here already, and with other teams coming in, it definitely made it tighter. But I think it goes back again. The system and the teams down here run operations a lot differently than other places, right?
Yeah.
And I think but again, that's why we've been so successful down here as well. Being able to handle that adversity in a different way and find fields to play on has always been something that coaches and people who run programs here have always had to do. Finding spaces and bringing portable goals, setting it up, lining fields with cones, man, whatever you got to do. And we're very lucky that the schools down here, as well as the park, they work in conjunction with each other a lot. And maybe it's the beauty of Yuma as well. We're still a community where a lot of people all know each other. And if you don't know that guy, you're one person away from somebody who does.
Right.
Well, hey, Ben, hey, we need these fields right, man. We got to talk to. Oh, that's Tony. Tony runs those fields. Oh, okay, Tony. Oh, yeah, his son works in such. Oh, yeah. The next thing you have some space that day. Or even the clubs. Most of the clubs down here, everyone knows each other on a first name basis that runs these clubs. So, hey, Jamie, I had another club coach told me, hey, Jamie, hey, we know you guys use this field on such and such street most of the time. Now, that's just professional courtesy because I'm not guaranteed those fields, right? But the professional courtesy between a lot of the coaches down here goes a long way. The coaches call each other up, hey, man, we're going to do a scrimmage that day. What time are you guys usually there? What time are you guys usually done by? Oh, we can make 8 to 10. We're there from, 1 to 3. Oh, okay, great. We're going to about 4. That'd be the problem. No, okay, great. There seems like there's a lot of respect between the coaches and that respect down here. And maybe again, that's one of the secrets is why so many kids out here get signed. Everyone down here has the kids as a focus, right? And again, I would compare it to maybe some of the Midwestern towns in football, where everyone out there is proud of the athletes that come out of that community, regardless of which high school they come from, right? Whether a kid comes out of YC, Cibola, Gila Ridge, Yuma, San Luis, there's a lot of pride in the Yuma community that's a kid that plays soccer down here, and he's going somewhere,
Yeah. Well, Jamie, I'm going to have to cut you off because I have a forever show going on here. But no, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you for giving us the Yuma update. Last thing is chili peppers. How's chili peppers still up and running?
Place, Dave, your favorite place, man. It's rocking down here. Every time you come down here, anytime you go across the border, if you look at the Scouts International pairs down in Mexicali, where they have their tornado audio, man, you let me know. We'll take care of you.
Yeah. Kofa High School and chili peppers, my two favorite things in Yuma. So anyways, that was Jamie Nicewander. We got to let you go. And thanks for coming on. We'll catch up, I'm sure, shortly.
Yeah, no doubt. Take care, Dave.
Click the next screen. Well, thank you so much, Jamie Nicewander, for coming on. We had a million technical difficulties in our first show. That's why it's soft opening. We hardly told anyone about it. But hopefully we only get better, which we will. Big thanks to IT Ryan. Thank you, Ryan, for all the technical help and support. You going to say you're welcome or anything back or what?
You're welcome.
Oh, good. All right.
Thank
So
you.
Ryan's still here. And thanks, Jack and Jett, for those 1v1 battles, which we'll have weekly. Every battle is going to be different. And occasionally I'll get on it, but we still got to figure out our networking on that. And just a reminder, I have a daily podcast Monday through Friday. They're not live, but we have them both on audio and video. On audio, you can find the podcast wherever podcasts are distributed. Just look for Coach Cameron Soccer and I'll come up. And of course on youtube.com/Coach Cameron Soccer, just Google it. And we're going to have a Sunday live show every Sunday at 7 p.m., I believe. I don't know, every Sunday, but we'll give you time to figure it out. We're just still trying to figure everything out. But we're going to start doing live shows once a week with the Cameron family. And that is it. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next time.